Hey, wait. I'm enjoying this. You guys are something else.
Gosh, I can't wait. Like, I want to wait, but I can't wait either. Because, I mean, that's a rant that...
Sora, that was no way to...
Keep it to yourself.
Wow, what a douche nozzle. Sora's such a douche. But, like, I'm just thinking ahead to, Birth By? Because, like, gosh, damn. Not Birth By, sorry, Dream Drop. Because it's like, that's a rant that I would want to redo in a format where everyone can hear it. Because I think the last time I ranted about it was in a private conversation. But, oh my gosh, I just can't get over it. Like, Ansem, the Xemnas. It's during the fight against Xemnas, I think. When, Sora calls him out on the whole nobody's not having hearts thing. But they do have hearts. And Xemnas is being like, yeah, duh. I just, gosh, man. To this day, I'm still a little surprised at how angry that made me. Like, seriously. It makes me salty, too. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I think everybody should be upset. I wonder if everyone was indeed upset at that part, because gosh dang, it sucked so hard. Xemnas is such an unrelenting douchebag. And he's Xehanort as a whole. I don't really... Like, I mean, I'm not upset that it's a retcon, because I don't think it's a retcon. For the longest time, even in the beginning, like, even in this game, when it was, before we knew fully what Nobody's was, but especially in Kingdom Hearts 2, they're like, they have no hearts, so they mimic emotions, because they can't emote, because they're nobodies, they don't have emotions, they just pretend that they do. That was, like, that was the knowledge that we were given, but, like, if you watch... this is what Sora points out. If you play in Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 and you see how the members of Organization 13 interact with each other, it's very clear that they do, in some instances, they mention specifically feeling things. And it's whether or not... I believe the thing is they don't accept it because Xemnas has confused them and convinced them all to the point that, nah, you guys don't have emotions. You don't have hearts or feelings. But they know they do. I mean, well, they don't know, but they do. And some of them realize it, but others that kind of realize it are like, nah, you're just imagining it, or we're just putting on a show. Because I think it's always been a thing. It's something really noticeable. I just think it's that Xemnas his indoctrination is so deep that no one questions it. Questions any lapses that they might have in believing Xemnas' whole spiel. So so that's my... Because that's exactly what Sora points out when he and Xemnas are having that talk at the end of Dream Drop. Or near the end of Dream Drop. And because he mentions, I think, different nobodies and, like, different points about them, and how he's absolutely certain that they do have hearts. And Xemnas is like, yeah, because they do. I just told them they didn't, because I'm a dickbag. You know? And just... Well, not that he's a dickbag, because he doesn't... What he needs from Organization 13 is not 13 individuals with hearts. He needs 13 individuals with nothing, so he can insert Xehanort into them. Which is the whole point. And so, he can't have them developing hearts and emotions and feelings. It's not allowed. So he convinces them that they don't have any. Right? That's my understanding. Like, once again, there's a lot about Dream Drop I don't get, but I think that scene... I was specifically angry with it, not because it was a retcon, but just because it's such a dick thing of Xemnas to do to his followers. Like, they might have all been bad guys, but I don't think that they all deserve that kind of treatment. Because a lot of them died, like, wishing that they at least had their emotions and their hearts, but they actually really did the whole time. Right? Oh gosh, this is the rant I didn't want to do now. I wanted to save it for Dream Drop. Might as well get it out of the way. Dream Drop is so far away anyway, so it's not like it matters. I still think, if anything, I think maybe a retcon, maybe? I don't know if it's a retcon. But I think that there was some... that... What is it? I think having everyone becomes Xehanort being a physical thing was something decided on later. Because if the plan was for everyone who becomes a Xehanort to adopt his white hair, maybe darker skin, and his golden eyes, that they would not have given characters eye colors or any elements of that prior to becoming Xehanort because it'd be confusing. Case in point, Xigbar, who is a easy point for contention, because like if I had planned that changing a character's physical appearance to show that they are something else is a thing, then I wouldn't have like made it so that it's hard to tell when the change takes effect. I would have made it more obvious. And in the case of Xigbar, because for a reason they decided to give him like brown, yellow, weird mustard eyes or whatever, and then have it change like a slight tint to be golden, but then have it like impossible to tell, I would never have done that. That's like the change that makes no sense to me. That's like... I like, when he was Braig, I would have given him a different eye color, basically. Like, I absolutely would not have given Braig eye color so close to Xehanort. Because there's no way that he became half Xehanort prior, right? That wouldn't have happened. Like, not while he was a somebody. At least I don't believe so. Even though he is the one who is most on board with Xehanort's plan, and as Xigbar shows in Kingdom Hearts 2, is like one of the ones who knows the most of what's going on. So, right? That's just something that I would really avoid it. Just like in Larxine's case, in Marluxia's case, Sayax's case, much easier. But with Xigbar, it's just a bizarre thing. And not to mention that the games really don't do a good job of telling us if it's Xigbar or Braig. I still don't know. I played Dream Drop and I'm still not 100% sure. I get why they put him back in the coat. The coat is iconic, but they should have, like, if it was Braig, they should have put him back in his birth by outfit. And then had him swap to his coat when they were in the round room. So you could tell that, like, Braig has now fully adopted being in True Organization 13. That's another thing I would have done. Make it so when he first has his dramatic return that he looks like Braig, so you know that that is in fact Braig, and he was indeed restored back to a somebody, and then have him adopt the hood later. Again. And then just keep him in the hood for all the rest of the game. So we've seen him in a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 already, and he's got the hood. So, you know, just... I guess these are little minute details that in my mind would have definitely benefited literally everything. And again, at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters, because I think there's enough information to determine that he is indeed Braig now. But just like, to avoid the confusion I had when I first saw him, and the fact that characters, I think, still refer to him as Xigbar is really weird. So it's just, there's that whole deal. Gosh, like, I should not be talking about this during Chain of Memories. I really shouldn't. I should be talking about this, like, I should be saving this whole rant and discussion for Dream Drop and Birth By. But nope, here I am, revisiting this rant that I've hit on like 20 times before, once again. Oh right, there's only 2 checkpoints here, and then there's the... Oh, I have a rewards card, so I can... I have a rewards card. You've heard this rant of mine, like, I think 3 or 4 times at this point, so I apologize. I forget that there's, like, probably no one else here who's listening to this impassioned rant about these things. It's not a rant as in, like, for anyone who might be listening, it's not a rant as in, I'm mad about this, I hate this Kingdom Hearts thing. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's more of a rant on presentation and clarity. That's really my big issue. And that's pretty much it. Like, I'm totally fine with how the story went, and I'm totally fine with, like, True Organization 13 and everything. Like, all the plot elements, I'm totally cool with. I just wish they were a bit more clear as to finding a way to define who is who. You know? That's just where I stand on it all. I was gonna stop after, what's the world that we just did? Twilight Town, but like whatever, I'll just keep going for a bit more. Yeah, why not? It's not like I'm gonna plan to do it. It's not like I have any plans for the rest of the day. I really don't. Okay, give me a second. I see a lot of posts there. So I will say it again. I apologize for telling you this rant for the 4th time because you've already heard it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna upload this episode to YouTube, and then I'm gonna download it, and I'm gonna splice out this part of it, and then I'm gonna upload that again. Because, like, it's something that I feel more people need to listen to. Or, like, that I want to get out there to more Kingdom Hearts fans and see what they think. Like, what their opinion on me freaking out about this is, if I'm crazy or not. So yeah, I think I'll do that. Because if I sit down, like, if I end this stream, and I sit down in front of the camera and try to present this idea again, I guarantee you it's not going to come off as well. Like, to this day, I wish that I had recorded the original one, which I ranted once again in private in a DM with family. Like, I wish I had recorded that because it was perfect. You hit up on everything. But I think this one did pretty good. I don't think there's anything that I left out that I brought up before. I think it's just big points about it again. So, yeah. I just need to remember where this rank is. 2 hours 50. About 2 hours 50 in. Okay. Yeah, but I feel like it just gets rid of Xemnas' awesome speech at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 that I remember liking a lot. His speech. Oh, you know what? Maybe you're talking about the line that he has when he says, when Sora asks him, like, if he has that, like, don't you remember the feelings you had? And his response is, unfortunately, I don't. And then he fades away. Because if that's what you're talking about, then I absolutely agree with you. I love that part. You know, I really do like that part. And you're right that with the retcon, or with the statement now that he knew the whole time, then that line comes across as him just lying, I guess? But maybe... Let me try to think of a way. Because Xemnas would have to know that he... Like, if Xemnas knows that they do have hearts, that would have to be something that... I'm trying to figure it out, because in my head there was a way that it worked, and that he doesn't remember having feelings. Well, Xemnas faded away at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, so he's gone. The Xemnas that now exists, the one that popped up in Dream Drop and everything, I think that might be a different one. That might be the true organization Xemnas. The one who's fully part of Xehanort now. Because the other Xemnas was not. He was the remains of Xehanort. The new Xemnas now, who is officially part of Organization 13, True Organization, I think is a different one. If that makes sense. Because, like, Xemnas and Ansem have in fact been destroyed. It's just that but how is it that they were revived is what I'm curious. Because they are wiped out at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. But because they are reconstituted at the end of Kingdom Hearts... What's the one where they point out that he's back? Is it Kingdom Hearts 2? In the secret ending? Where they mention, oh, because they're both dead now, that means Xehanort's back? But when they mention that, at the end of whichever game it is that they say that, it just has me thinking that from that point on, that's when Xehanort starts bringing his past selves in. So the Xemnas that knows all this was the Organization 13 one, but was pulled out of that time to the time now where they're all inhabiting. So he is the same one, but he's the same one with new information, I guess? Does that make sense? So that's where I'm gonna go with. Because in that respect, that means that the Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts 2 did indeed not have emotions and did not remember that part. Whereas the one pulled out of that time, quote-unquote, and brought to the true organization was filled in by Xehanort about anything, and now this one knows everything. And that's why. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I think it makes sense. But of course I do, I'm the one giving the idea out. I'm gonna keep reading your post, because gosh, you wrote down a lot. The eye color thing, I'm pretty sure was thought of later. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I read that when Xemnas, I think it was him, first appeared, he had slightly different eye color to what he has now. Xemnas' first canonical appearance would be Kingdom Hearts 2, I believe. Because I think 2 came after Chain of Memories, and Xemnas is not in Chain of Memories at all. I believe so. So we'll see when we get there. Or maybe it was Ansem. Maybe. Well, yes, but I agree with it. True, that happens every time you try to discuss a topic in detail. Yeah, those questions he proposes for a video game, they really make me think about deep shit. Yeah, they are really good. Yeah, that too. It really feels like it shifted his personality quite a bit. Yeah, that's what I got too. Unfortunately, because I'm reading the comments now, after I had that like 3-part rant, now I don't know what you're agreeing to. But given that it's all agreements, I guess you just agree with all my various points. Like, because like, it is very confusing, but once again, I think the most confusing thing about Kingdom Hearts, and the thing that I want someone to sit me down with and tell me in detail, is how the Dream Drop time travel works. So there's 2 things about Dream Drop that I really want to know. How Kingdom Hearts time travel works, and what was the other thing I really want to know? And how did True Organization 13 hijack the Marker Mastery exam? And also, like, what part of Marker Mastery exam was real and what was fake? Like, explain the sleeping worlds in full detail. So I mean, basically all the questions that I have is, what happened in Dream Drop? So I need someone to like sit me down and just be like, okay, this is Dream Drop. And once I understand that, I'm 99% sure everything else will fall into place, and I will no longer be losing my mind every time I try to think about this. Oh hey, I did Art of Arcanum without even meaning to. I see Sora go nuts with his Keyblade. That was funny. Like, I think I've already got a good grasp on everything else in Kingdom Hearts. Dream Drop is really the only thing that introduced things that are a little confusing. But that comes with the territory. Time travel is always a sticky point. It's just that whatever media is implementing time travel, it needs to explain how they're doing it and then stick to it. Like, they can't all of a sudden decide, but actually you can do this too. Like, you have to stick to one clear method of time travel. And you have to, like, Red vs. Blue of all things explained this the best, because their most recent season had time travel in it. Time travel is determined and ruled by how, in its specific universe, it handles paradoxes. So depending on how that works, whether a person can meet themselves, whether they can't, whether you can change the past by going into the past or you create a separate timeline, like however time travel affects that is how it should be handled, and that's the way to define it. So in Kingdom Hearts, I just want like a clear definition of that. Because admittedly, their method of time travel is really weird because it's not exactly time travel. But because like the whole thing about trying to get all the Xehanorts in a place where they can all return to the same place, but then they slingshot back to where they were before and forget, is really, really weird. Especially because, assuming that they were supposed to gather specifically in the round room during Dream Drop, and then get pulled back to their times, why are they all still around in Kingdom Hearts 3 after they had been slingshotted back to their times? Which, for all I know, maybe that's something that Dream Drop did not explain, and that's something that we have to wait till Kingdom Hearts 3 to tell us, oh, this is why they didn't slingshot back in time. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, if there's anyone else here who maybe is watching this for the first time, which I really hope there isn't, like, nothing in the last 45 minutes makes any damn sense. Nothing that I've been saying makes any fucking sense. Because I'm talking about Dream Drop. I shouldn't have done this. Like, I knew as soon as in my head, I'm like, you know what? I think now is a good time to bring up my Dream Drop rant again. I knew that I should not have done it. Because it makes no sense. Like, in the context of fucking Chain of Memories, which is like 8 games before Dream Drop. Gosh. What can I say? I love it. I love I just love how impassioned I become about it. Because it keeps me talking, and I love not my stream not being dead air, because I feel like it is too much. And it is on topic, because I think at this point, I'm streaming these games in preparation for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, the idea of limiting myself to talking about only the game I'm playing kind of sucks. And it also really sucks because, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to actually, like, legitimately act like I have no idea what happens next? You know, to make this super interesting? Or can I just hit up on whatever it is I want to hit up on? Okay, Judgment, go Judgment. The stream was supposed to end an hour ago.